Well, hello to each and every single one of you nice and silly little people from the information superhighway. My name, of course, is Sam, and I would like to welcome you to another pre-packed edition of Weird Mind Newsroom, where we'll be back for another week talking all forms of new releases, trailers, and news from the week of content, all be found in one location. So let's not waste too much time. Let's set sail into the media and find all the focus of media that we do have for this week.
Groovy.
On the first of the new releases for this week, we'll be bringing us back to the realm of the usual array of content from the studio that seems to be continually making a lot of these, and this is in the realm of the live-action remakes. And while I can be the one to tolerate a few from being released a very long time ago, this one will stretch the limit of how far it'll go in time frame from animated version to live action, because this one currently is the shortest window, but it looks like we are back to foresee for one of these new ones, the release of the all-new live-action take from Disney with their take on Moana. Now this, of course, will be based on the 2016 film that follows the character who is a Polynesian princess who's destined to travel across the vast oceans to see what lies beyond her home. Soon, that chance comes to pass when her home begins to show signs of decay and despair from the removal of the heart of Te Fiti. Will soon go on a journey to locate the demigod of Maui and restore her to its rightful place before the world turns to ruin. Now, reception on this remake has been hit with mixed to very underwhelming reception, critics-wise, but praised highly by audiences, as well. The performances of the leads have gotten some decent reception, especially the new live-action take of the lead is praised as well, and some respect to the culture. The film has been critiqued on being too safe, too dull in color, looking a little lacking in the redoing of the songs, and the uncanny valley approach of the visual effects, especially with Tamatoa. And that makes it wonder if this was made with intention or if The Rock was hoping for a bit of a better box office after a few underperforming titles. But I guess you can see what comes of it all. When you want to see it for yourself, you can catch this film out now in cinemas. On the second of the films for this week, we'll be moving from the realm of live action to more on the basis of horrors, unless some of the visuals of the first film may be a bit more scary to you. But it's a return to another series. We'll be seeing the passing of curses, past traumas, and legendary relics, and a sinister book all coming to cause horrors and creatures that will lead to everything going up in flames. As we have the release of the 6th entry of this popular graphic horror series with the new film of Evil Dead Bird. The new film will follow a woman who will look to seek comfort at her in-laws as they remote home after losing her husband in a tragic car accident. However, after the discovery of an ancient book, the family reunion will soon become a form of a hellish nightmare. The reception to this newest entry seems to be well received, with praise in its graphic materials, scares, and performances, with some critiques feeling it could be a little shorter and some visuals may not be the most, maybe a little off, but not too bad in general. Still showed there is still appeal in this series, which will be worth seeing if they keep it going with Raph in about 2 years' time. But if you want to see what's up for something a little more scary, you can catch this film, its newest entry, also out now in cinemas. And on the one side of video games for this week, it seems that the focus of the big one of the week will be heading back out to the high seas, where the initial first title this week focused about the restoring of a lost artifact. This will be more on the plundering of treasure, the sailing for adventure and a better life, and to the battle of facing off against the long-standing feud of adversaries and those to protect the innocent in the shadows, as we mixing in with the golden age of piracy, as we have the release the long-rumored entry return to Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced. Now this is based, of course, on the 4th numbered entry in the series from 2013, where you will once again take control of the popular series character of Edward Kenway, as you become the captain of a crew and the ship of the Jackdaw, as you find treasure, cross paths with famous pirates like Blackbeard, and defeat the long-standing enemies of the Templars, and look for a better way of life for you and your family. The reception of this new remake of the series has seemed to be very well received, with both critics and audiences, with praising its visuals, its story, characters, combat, and exploration, and respect to the original title. There's some critiques are leveled at some of the bugs that are still present, a few changes are missed, and the combat itself feel a bit altered, could be a little mixed to some of the outcome, but it seems to have been a major success so far in the overall project. If you want to play it for yourself, you can play it now on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. And in any case, I'm going to project this, probably a Switch 2 version down the line. With all that regards now, that's all the new releases that we have for this week.
Okay, 60 for the Resonator, and my grandson wants the sex robot.
Now, on the first of the trailers of the week, we'll be delving into the realm of another look at the biggest films of the year, and one of the last big blockbusters for this year in particular, that has a lot of hype to it. To some anyway, I'll get to it. But in the case of how this film is titled, is a little misleading, and in the case will be more of a follow-up story that will bring with it the planned epic conclusion of a massive trilogy adaptation of one of the most well-known books of all time, as we have the release of the newest entry for the 3rd film of this adaptation, with what I will label the right way of Dune Messiah. Now, based on the follow-up novel of the same name, the film will be set 17 years after part 2, and will see Paul Atreides as the trapped emperor, that despite ruling the universe, he is powerless to stop the bloody jihad fought in his name, as he faces a conspiracy to dispose him and must fight to the people of Arrakis and of the powerful substance of the spice. So I made a focus when the first trailer came out a couple months ago that I had my issues with this, and my thoughts in the first two parts were I feel if anything they show great visual splendor and cinematography, but some elements just feel a little lacking. Part 1 had decent world building, but some characters are underwhelming, and part 2 had some improvements but still a little overpraised in some form. I do want to like them, and maybe it's a case I need to rewatch the first two and give my thoughts and the reviews and stuff like that, but maybe just from some elements of this and the naming makes it a little out there, stretching out the first book even more. The biggest one for me as well is that there's still a near 2-decade time jump that maybe would make sense for a little bit of a recasting, because the leads still look like they're like 3 days later than in being 17 years in the jump, but maybe it's just a nitpick to me. I'm sure it'll be worth watching. We'll check it out to see the end of the story, but I may be leaning more towards another big blockbuster that's out in that same week. That'll be arriving with footage within the next 2 weeks or so, but I guess we'll see by the conclusion of this title when it releases in the cinemas from the 18th of December. Our second trailer this week will be delving into the realm and focus of all the animation for the week, and we're giving a focus to a title that has been quite the roller coaster of development and news in this regards. We're returning to a world where initially was under the threat of a nation that controlled the element of fire, but now seen peace and prosperity for many years. That concept may soon be a change that could cause the peace to end. We'll need to bring them back to save the world once more, as we have finally gotten the trailer for the follow-up film sequel to Avatar with Aang the Last Airbender. Now set 13 years after the defeat of the Fire Lord Ozai and the end of the 100-Year War, Aang will discover another surviving airbender named Taga, and learns about the powerful staff that could restore his culture. Now with the help of Katara, Sokka, Zuko, and Toph, they embark on a global quest to find the relic before a group known as the Denied can claim it and upend the peace that they fought to achieve. So this title has quite the journey from its concept that started from the original creators leaving the Netflix live-action adaptation and then creating a new studio after a boom and appeal at releasing it onto the streaming service, and then the film had a 5-year journey to release and a few delays, are removed from theatrical release, which is a dumb move and should have been the approach, and then the unfortunate thing a few media pieces from this company have experienced is being leaked on Twitter. And I feel it for them in this regards is what I've seen on the title, it looks really visually amazing. I think that despite what they say about numbers, I could see this getting some decent appeal from box office and audience turnout, but I'm sure we worth a watch, and hopefully many will support over watching the leaked version in particular instance, but I guess we'll see by its release on Paramount Plus and hopefully a future cinema release from the 25th of July. Our next trailer of this week is another title that has a bit of a journey from its initial release all the way to its new location, but we got dealt with removing from a release calendar and a shake-up when it could have come out, but it looks like the plan for it has all been updated with new features and updated modes and demand, with this being a planned case of something created for the means of companionship and other things may soon become a little bit more dangerous from the features of self-discovery, as we have the release of the trailer for the new mature-based horror based on the world of Megan with a trailer for Soulmate. In the film we'll see a man who acquires an adult android to cope with the loss of his recently deceased wife, but soon however in an attempt to create a fully sentient partner, he inadvertently turns a harmless love bot into a deadly soulmate. So akin to the likes of Avatar, but this title was dealt with the same shakeups but not to the level of leaked fully online, but rather losing a theatrical release as it was reported not be the most well received from some early test screenings. There's a case that this could have been a lost media film, but I feel from what I've seen from the trailer, it's given a mix of last year's companion movie with the concept that was a little bit akin to Obsession from this year, and some other bits mixed in there as well that I guess will give a chance to release, and from what I can see from it, it could be a decent watch that may find an audience even if it's not really going to be much of a game changer, but I'm sure it'll have its appeal. I guess we'll see by its release on digital formats in about 3 weeks time from the 1st of August. With all that regards now, that's all the trailers we have for this week as well.
Oh no, Willie didn't make it, and he crushed our boy!
Ugh, what a mess.
So it is sort of time of the year once more, as well we are a little off the start of the season for all those festivals and other big things in the focus for like the award season. We do have one bit of news in the realm of awards, as this week we were given the official nomination list for this year's Emmys, and it seems there's been a fair amount of strong competition to go against the ideals of seeing what has taken the industry by storm in its recognition of many fronts across the normal and streaming surfaces. I'll be interested to see what will be taking the top spot, so let's delve into what has been the big surprises, the nominees, and a few snubs from this year's television. So we will start on the nominations. There was quite a variety of choice, but looks like the title that has taken the big spot of most nominated this year is with the hospital drama of The Pit, with a lead of 25 nominations and about half of them in the major categories, including for best drama series and for a fair amount for performances like for Noah Weil and many others in the supporting roles. What I've been told from those that have watched it, and from my parents as well, it's a very addictive watch, so maybe I'll try and watch it and hopefully it's not overly graphic because my hemophobia is not that of great for those things. But coming in close behind in the second spot and only one short by 1 nomination is with the final season of Hacks, getting 24 nominations and 7 major categories, including for Best Comedy, Series and Performance by Gene Smart, Hannah Einbinder and Paul W. Downs, and it really seems to be even going for 5 seasons, and it has proven itself a strong bit of television and on a pretty solid note compared to some other shows that seem to falter with the same amount of seasons in particular. Then coming in third of nominations with the series of Widow's Bag with 19 nominations and also with 7 major categories, including for Best Comedy, Performances for Male Leads, and even a few for Writing and Directing. And while I am not overly familiar with this one, may give it a look. And then running up the top 5 nominations with a series of Pluribus with 18 nominations, including Best Drama and Lead Performance for Rhea Seehorn, showing the case that Vince Gilligan can make more proper solid television even after the Breaking Bad series. And then rounding out the top 5 was the second season of Beef with 60 nominations, including Best Anthology Series and for Performances and Writing. And I can say that it's proven some strong solid top 5 of television of the last half of last year and the first half of this year. Now there's a few others in there that got some appeal, from Spire Noir and Fallout getting some buzz and nominations for Amazon with 11 nominations for Noir and 9 for Fallout respectively. Night of Seven Kingdoms still getting some praise with 9 nominations as well. The Bear still getting some with 8 nominations, but seems to be a little lower than usual, but they will still have a chance given this is for season 4 when they have season 5 for next year in particular. The adaptation of Margot's Got Money Problems making bank with 8 nominations as well, and the case that while they were taken off the air for nefarious means, it looks like The Late Show with Stephen Colbert got the last laugh with 9 nominations, including for talk show, writing, and variety. There was one that I was also happy to see get nominated, and that was with Smiling Friends getting a nomination for Outstanding Animated Program. I think it was a focus of possibly the second episode of the season maybe, but it could be for the full season overall, which I'm happy with that regards of things. Another big one I was happy was a nomination was with the recent Muppet Show special from February that got 6 nominations for the Creative Arts Emmys, including for Best Variety Special, voice performance for Kermit, as well as for writing and production stuff. And I hope with this appeal that we'll get a garner a full series order, because we need more Muppets in this current time. Now of course there was a few snubs at the event like usual, and one of the big ones that many felt like even if the last season wasn't the best received, at least a nomination for was at least the final season of The Boys, in particular with the acting nomination for Anthony Starr as Homelander. And while I can see the case of the mixed appeal of the final season to some, I personally actually like the final season, I can agree he's at least deserved a nomination for his performance across that 5-season show. Some other big ones I have seen of the snubs were towards the lack of performance or series of nominations for Stranger Things that, while garnering 6 nominations in the technical side, failed to garner any best series or performance roles, but I feel they are lucky to get those technical ones in particular. Jeremy Allen White was snubbed for The Bear, which he was nominated for the previous 3 seasons, and Half Man also walked away with only just 1 nomination for Richard Gad, which seems like a major difference. The juggernaut that Baby Ranger was 2 years ago for Gad, but I guess some things work for others. But in this case overall, I see despite some snubs and surprises, it's a decent roll of nominations across the shows, and I'd be interested to see what will be with the big trophy comes to live shows in mid-September, but I guess we can see around that time then. But what do you make of these nominations? Which ones you see winning, and what do you hope will be nominated in particular if you had the chance to do so? Let me know what you think down below, we can talk about them there. As for our second of the stories this week, we'll be given the focus of the usual weekly serving of a hodgepodge of stories with the focus of all the different topics from the week, from studio shakeups, project changes, and some casting news as well. But let's delve into what was shown overall in the week of entertainment news. So I'll focus first on a bit of some fortunate news in this case, as we're talking a little more on the gaming industry, as it feels such a major stark difference to how we were all excited for it all in the Summer Games Fest and Studio Showcase at the beginning of last month. And Direct's giving us hope for the future, as well we talked on my concerns with the physical issues with GTA 6 being a code in a box and stuff blocked behind the Ultimate Edition, and it needs a proper disc version that I hope in the future. And in the case of PlayStation's really unfavorable decision to stop physical discs that they have yet to address, and everyone keeps just absolutely dogpiling on them in their comment sections of like new posts they posted a couple days ago. It looks like we're turning to the other big known rival of the console wars, as we're talking on Xbox. As well, I could have mentioned some bits a little while ago on this over the last few weeks. I waited until the day it was due to happen, and that all occurred on Monday this week as the big purge of Xbox happened, with over 3,200 employees being laid off, with the first half happening immediately and the second half happening gradually over time. And the outcome of 4 studios being under concern of closure and loss was revealed, with them thankfully avoiding closure or games cancellations, with 2 of them being Up the Compulsion Games, who made We Happy Few and South of Midnight, and Double Fine that made the Psychonauts series Brutal Legend and Keeper will be going full independent again, and then Ninja Fury, who made Neo and Hellblade, and Undead Lambs, who make Stay of Decay, will be possibly looking for buyers to keep them open. Now the ordeals of all this seems to be a lot of hassle, and I can understand the case that while these unfortunately being let go and they're causing a lot of knock-on effects for the studios like Bethesda, 343, Obsidian, id, and Activision, I can fully understand the concerns that Xbox is on its final legs. from this whole ordeal. Now, there's a sense for the reasons with the new head of Ashish Sharma is looking to try and rebuild and provide importance of some of these beloved IPs for the consoles from Doom, Elder Scrolls, Fallout, and even like some Halo being mentioned. Though the decision for Halo being given to Activision as an option will be a concern on the outcome and things, but how Free's been doing it, we could let it see it happen. And I hope we'll see a sense of fix for these IPs return to their former glory selves, cheaper hardware for all, and give a reason for those to go back to play Xbox, industry that's all over the place and becoming inaccessible to many from price points, internet, and other means, and hopefully will be the fix back to how it once was. Let's just hope in this case Nintendo doesn't pull anything bad and do more on the good, like their recent push of giving a 10% increase of their employee salaries to basically help them make better games. But knock on wood, at the accessible, and we get to see what will happen to things, but we'll keep an eye on stuff. On the focus of the project news for this week, we'll be delving into the update of project that was mentioned a little while ago, whose recent update on the project is a bit of a disappointing news to some. As reported this week that the planned TV series based on V for Vendetta has been apparently dropped from HBO. Now, the project was first announced in November last year and was being written by Pete Jackson, who did the show Somewhere Boy, and being executive produced by James Gunn and Peter Safran. And it seems like it had some hope in adapting the comics after a fan favorite film from about 20 years ago, and I feel it could expand it further, but now it seems like the project is unclear. Reports that they may be looking for a new adaptation with a different writer. It is a shame that the concept like this has suffered something like this regards. I do hope they will get a chance to see the light of day, but I guess we'll see in due time. And if there's anything new about this, I'll let you know in a later episode too. On the last of the project announcements, it seems that our popular title from the bygone era will be getting a form of a return in some capacity, with the title in focus being an unexpected one, and I feel in some ways could be done well in the modern setting. As announced this week that a planned reboot of the film of Free Willy was in the works, with the project being helmed by Mary Margaret Kunze and Jade Halle Bartlett, and be produced by the Russo brothers as well. Now, for those uninformed by the title, the focus of a young boy named Jesse who works at the water park and becomes friends with a killer whale named Willy that seems to not be very cooperative with his trainers, and through friendship and an elaborate plan that will help Willy escape from being killed, and where we get the iconic image of the whale jumping over the child. This I can see somewhat work in this form of being something that would show the concern and dangers of enclosing those wild animals and habitats and force them to train to do tricks for tourists in all forms, in the case of this being more in the dangers of doing so after the release of that documentary of Blackfish from about 2014. I'm sure these will be a sense of reasoning for it. The other form could be that it's a legacy sequel with Jesse coming back as a father or someone who knew of a similar situation in the past with another kid looking to try and do the same for another killer whale, but I guess we will see what comes of this concept and the project down the line. Now, for the moment, there is no word on the likes of when we will see this reboot, but once you hear anything, I'll let you know in the episode as well. Then for likes of casting announcements or updates, we have an update to a casting confirmation that was initially given a little while ago, but it looks like some things have changed in the process, as it looks like the newest season of American Horror Story has already seen the loss of one of its big new stars, and it comes in the form of Ariana Grande announcing that to be dropping out the new season. Now, the reason for her dropping it apparently has to do with the filming clashing with her planned Eternal Sunshine tour that she is currently on and running up till September, as seems to be an issue with her filming for the series. Now, it's unclear on the likes of who she would have been playing in the new season or what the new season is about in general, but it couldn't be as bad as the last season, with two of the three leads focus cast being a bit of a bad choice in casting, but I'm sure we'll have either more their story with other characters or rewrote the season in some form to write her out, but I'll likely appear in a future season or something. But I guess we'll get an idea this season by its release in late September, but we'll see by then. But what do you make of these stories? Do you see Xbox making a comeback, or is this all layoffs and other forms going to put the nail in the coffin? Will the V for Vendetta series survive, or is it dead on arrival? Will you check out this Free Willy reboot? Do you feel Ariana could still appear in American Horror Story, or will she return in a later season? Let me know what you think down below in the comments, and with all that regards, that's all the news that we do have for this week.
And thank you!
And in case with all that regards, it ends episode 164 of Weird My Newsroom, and I hope you enjoyed my ramblings for probably around 20-25 minutes. Anyways, let's fly through and talk about all the stuff that's probably coming up in the next little while on this channel. So reviews wise, I'm going to actually finish up the Last of Us review hopefully in the next couple of days. If I get this done quick enough and get it done during the week, at least finish that up, and we'll start into Amazing Digital Circus, and then we'll do a few films in the regards of things. I need to get around to one or two movies in particular. I think from like June, I think the only one really have left to watch is like Jackass, and I think it's mostly Jackass, maybe some other ones from the beginning of the month, but I'll have to figure that out. And then, or Scary Movie, yeah. Then the case of some other long form stuff, as well as the snack size boxes ones. I'll get around to finishing editing those and a few other ones that I have in particular mind, and variations of lengths, genres, and stuff like that. Then the case of some gameplays. I've uploaded another part of the Tomodachi Life streams I have. One of them is missing a bit of footage from it, but I got the best I can through it, and I'll get through the rest of the other ones when I can. I'll get around to continuing on that story on Twitch. I've just been busy with one or two other things in VODs. As well as case, I'll get around back to Duncan Bonanza, Mario Wonders, Cyberpunk 2077, Star Wars Outlaws, and I'll start some other ones like more Resident Evils, Skull and Bones, Alone in the Dark, Indiana Jones, Robocop, Dead Space, Metal Gear Solid, Assassin's Creed, Atomic Heart, Forspoken, Silent Hill, and a few other big ones like Expedition and stuff, as well as other games like Ventilator, different variations of different genres, maybe some co-op stuff. I'll see it down the line, but look forward to those, and I'll probably do more on Twitch and return back to Hollow Knight and stuff like that. But yeah, look forward to those. In the case of long form stuff as well, I do have another title that's basically in the works. It's going to be the Pikachu set from Pokemon, as well as the case Harmospore is coming along, the AI Instructs video will be happening, the Rewatch Event will be happening, as well as other variations of long form stuff. So look forward to those. I will get back to those in due course. But for the moment now, I'm going to get the episode there for now. If you like what you see here and want to see more from me more frequently, simply like and subscribe, because I upload new stuff every single week, and I'm trying to reach a goal of 750 to 1,000 subs by the end of this year. So any support would be greatly appreciated. So I'll see how I'm doing a case of trying to attempt a promotional thing of like one of my videos and see if it gets some impressions and views. See how it goes from that. If I get some subscribers, and if I get new people in, hi, welcome in. I'm not a threat, and I hope you enjoy your time here, and I hope you will be a wholesome experience for you too. And in case, let me know your thoughts all this week from the new releases, trailers, and news stories, and we can talk about them down below in the comments in like respectful manner kind of thing. If you have positive, negative things about it, we can talk about it. With that regards to things now, I'm going to end the episode for now. So as always, you all stay wonderful people. Have a great day every day, doing great things and keeping you because no one else can do what you do. And take care of yourself because mental health is very important. Now, I've been your host, Sam, of course. And I'll just see you on the next episode. So take care, and I'll see you later.